Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to build a another VPN today. It's going to be LAN to LAN VPN as usual. It's going to be routing traffic from the 192.168.10.0 to the 192.168.20.0. So it's going to be a VTI over IPSEC LAN to LAN VPN, which means on the tunnel we're going to use a different mode. Instead of IP mode for the gray tunnel, it's going to be IPSEC mode. Okay, that's the main difference. Also, the keep alive traffic. We're not going to have keep alive traffic maintained by the public IP addresses of the of our routers. Okay, the 64 on the R1 side or 65 on the R2 side. So VTI stands for Virtual Tunnel Interface. Okay, so it's going to be Virtual Tunnel Interface over IPSEC. Okay, so the process itself, first thing we want to do is make sure there's reachability between R1, R2, okay, over the ISP as usual, and then we'll make sure then we create the IK phase 1, the ISACAM policy, and then also create the IK phase 2 transform set. And then we create a tunnel profile. Okay, we're going to use tunnel profile instead of crypto map. And then the last is we're going to create the tunnel itself. Okay, and then apply the tunnel profile. So now I'm going to bring up the R1 ISP and R2 routers. I'm going to bring them up and then make sure there's the reachability. Okay, that R1 can ping R2. Okay, but the LAN side would not be able to ping the other LAN side of the other router. Okay, so power on all those devices right now. Okay, so now all the routers have been powered on, and I went ahead and configured reachability between those routers, and what is left to be configured is just the tunnel. So if I come to the command line interface on R1, from R1 I can ping the other end, which is R2 65.65.65.2. Okay, that thing is working. But if I want to ping the LAN side of R2 192.168.20.1, which is the IP I gave on the loopback interface of R2. I try to ping that one. That ping is not responding. Tunnel is not configured yet, so we can check show IP interface brief. So there's no tunnel yet, so I cannot even source the traffic from a tunnel interface. If I go to R2, the same thing. Show IP interface brief. So there's no tunnel configured, just the loopback has been configured. But yeah, I configured the loopback as our LAN interface. Okay, so yeah, that's the reachability has been configured. Now we have to start configuring the tunnel itself. So first we're going to configure the tunnel at R1, and then we configure for R2. So the first thing we want to do is to configure IK phase 1, which is a crypto map, the crypto ISACAM. We're going to use policy 10. Then we configure the encryption. Encryption 3 days. Then hash MD5. Then we're going to use pre-shared authentication. And Defiaman group 2. Then we exit. IK phase 1 is done. Now we have to since we said we're gonna use a pre-shared key. Now we have to set up the key and then define who is going to listen to that key. So crypto is icon key 0. 0 means it's the key is we're gonna do it. We're gonna configure it unencrypted. We define the key. Okay, we call the key Cisco 123. It's going to listen from address 65.65.65.2. Then we configure the transform set. So IPFix 1 is completed. Now we're going to start IPFix 2 with the we'll configure the transform set. Crypto IPSEC. So we're going to call it my set. Then we'll configure the payload for encryption. And then the payload for the hash. We're going to set the mode to transport. Okay, so if we say we're going to set the mode to transport, and we said the transport mode is better for side-to-side VPN. For when we're going to be doing dynamic VPN, that's multi-point dynamic VPN, tunnel mode is preferred, but for side-to-side VPN it's transport mode. Mode transport. Then we exit out of there. Now we're going to create a tunnel profile. Crypto IPSEC profile. We're going to call the profile tunnel profile. Okay, set the transform set we're going to use for the question mark. So we're going to set a transform set that we defined just previously. Set the transform set to my set. Okay. Exit out of there. So we've created the IPFix 1, the ISACAM. We've created IPFix 2 transform set. We've created the tunnel. We have to create the tunnel right now. Okay. And now the tunnel profile is already created. Now what's left is just the gray tunnel to create. We have to configure the gray tunnel. So to configure the gray tunnel, you have to interface tunnel 0. We're going to call it tunnel 0. We'll give it an IP address 10.0.0.0.1. Okay, as a physical tunnel interface, the IP address that we give, and we give a tunnel source. Tunnel source is going to be our internet facing IP of R1, sorry, which is 64.64.2. We give a tunnel destination, which is going to be the internet facing IP of R2, 65.65.65.2. We'll give the tunnel mode. So if you say tunnel mode question mark, we can see we have a number of options here. Previously we did not define tunnel mode. By default it's a gray tunnel. Okay, when we don't define it, it's a gray tunnel, but now we have to define it as IPSEC tunnel. Okay, so it's going to be IPSEC. Tunnel mode is IPSEC. And IP version 4, the question mark is IP version 4. IP version 4. Okay. Now you have to apply the tunnel, the profile into the tunnel. Okay. So tunnel. So the profile that we created previously, we're going to apply it now to the tunnel. So the tunnel protection IPSEC profile. We'll give the profile name, which is just tunnel profile. Okay. And immediately we see that EtherCam is turned on. IPFace 1 came on. Okay. So we have to do the same thing, exactly the same thing on the other side. That's on R2, which is going to be a mirror image of the configuration we just did on R1. Okay. So let me just bring up a page that shows exactly what the configuration we're going to put on R2. So on R1, if we do show run section crypto, or tunnel. Let's see what we see here. Okay, so basically on R2 we're going to have to put the same IPSEC tunnel, IPFace 1 policy. We're going to have to apply the same IPFace 1 policy. We have to the only thing we're going to change is going to be the remote peer IP address. Okay, instead of 65, it's going to be 64.64.2. And then what else? The tunnel interface IP on R2 has to change. It's going to be .2 now. Okay, so that's the only difference we're going to have on the R2 side. I'm just going to copy this and put in the notepad. And then make some changes. So on R2 it's going to be 64.64.64.2, and then this one is going to be .2, and then also tunnel source on R2 is going to be 65.65.65.2, and the tunnel destination on R2 is going to be 64.64.64.2. Okay. Alright, so I went ahead and applied exactly the same configuration as you see here on R2. Okay, if I can separate the space just to see so that we can see the differences. I apply this configuration on R2. Okay, so let's check what we applied on R2. So if I do show run, section crypto, or tunnel. Okay, okay, so we can clearly see the configuration on R2. Okay, it's a mirror image of what we did on R1. Okay, it's exactly the same thing you see here. So which means our R2 is configured. If I do show crypto EtherCam security association, you can see the tunnel has been formed between R1 and R2. Okay, and the tunnel mode is stable, it's active. Okay, the tunnel state is active. So if I do show crypto IPSEC security association, okay, what we can see here is that the interesting traffic is not defined. We have we didn't set up this IP address. Okay, we didn't set up any, like the internal traffic is not defined, and we don't see traffic going through the tunnel. Okay, there's no encapsulation and decapsulation traffic through the tunnel. And then also we can see that the security association is functioning in tunnel mode. Okay, we configured transport mode here, but it's actually functioning in tunnel mode. Okay, the operation is in tunnel mode. And so this is very typical of virtual tunnel interfaces. And if I do show interface tunnel 0, okay, so you can see the encapsulation is tunnel mode, okay, which is gray tunnel. And also we can see that it's okay, what else can we see here? Okay, the protocol is IPSEC. Okay, if you remember here, we configured the mode, the tunnel mode in IPSEC. So this is what we have here. So previously, in the previous videos, we had the tunnel protocol, we had IP, but here it's going to be IPSEC. Okay, so now let's check the operation. Okay, let's see if we can ping LAN to LAN. If you go to R1, we go to I1, we see we ping. Let's try to ping the LAN side of R2, which is 192.168.20.1, which is the IP I gave to loopback. Okay, if I do ping it, ping is not responding. Even if I source the traffic from tunnel 0, still not responding. Okay, so tunnel, I have to say source. Okay, source tunnel 0. If I source the traffic from tunnel 0, it's still not responding. Okay, and the reason it's not responding is that when we configured the tunnel, we did not define how that the LAN, we did not define. Okay, if I come here, we did not tell the tunnel how this LAN side is going to reach this side. So we have to create, we have to inject OSPF or routing protocol into the tunnel so that this LAN side can be able to reach the other LAN side. Okay. So for that, let me just go back to the CLI mode. So on R1, I have to inject OSPF into the tunnel. So we'll configure tunnel. If I do show run interface tunnel 0, okay, so it doesn't have OSPF, it doesn't have any routing protocol that permits it to know the LAN subnets. So I'm going to go configure terminal interface tunnel 0, so IP OSPF. We're going to use process 100, area 0 or area 100. Okay, so OSPF is injected in tunnel on the R1 side. We have to do the same thing on the R2 side. All right, so if I do on R1, if I do show IP route, okay, so I configured OSPF, but we still can't see the LAN side of R2, so we have to configure OSPF2 on the loopback interfaces. Okay, so if I do terminal interface loopback 0, okay, let's just check show IP interface brief. So we have to configure OSPF on this loopback interface. Okay, so OSPF is running on the tunnel, but it's not running on the loopback. So if it's not running on loopback, the LAN sites is not going to be able to know about each other. Okay, so let's go on R1 and configure OSPF on the loopback interface, loopback 0. IP OSPF, and we have to configure the same process. OSPF process is 100, area 100. Okay, to save, do exactly the same thing on R2, show IP interface brief. Okay, so OSPF is running on the tunnel, but it's not running on the loopback. Okay, but we can check, we can just double check, show run interface tunnel 0, see if there's OSPF. Yeah, OSPF is there, it's configured, but it's not yet configured on the loopback interface. Show run interface loopback 0, so there's no OSPF. Can configure it, interface loopback 0, IP OSPF process 100, area 100. Now we can save. Now if we do show IP route, okay, to show IP route, we should be able to see OSPF. We have to be able to see OSPF routes for the LAN interface. Okay, so we're on R2, we're able to see this subnet, okay, coming from LAN from R2, and we know this through the serial interface. Okay, sorry, we know about this through the we know about this through tunnel 0. That's what we should expect. Of course, traffic is going through serial 0, but the tunnel is the one that has the encrypted traffic. Okay, so if I do a ping from R2 to the LAN interface of R1, that ping should work. Okay, so if I do ping to 192.168.10.1, okay, that ping should work. I don't even have to source into it. Okay, ping is working, and I can source traffic, source the traffic from tunnel 0 as well. Ping should work, and the same thing if I do ping from the other side as well. Okay, on R1, okay, or R2, doesn't matter. If I do show crypto IPSEC security association, okay, if you remember the first time we created this tunnel, there was no traffic decapsulated through the tunnel. Now there is traffic, and the reason we had traffic is because we injected OSPF into the tunnel. Okay, so then we made the keep alive. So this is like the keep alive traffic. Okay, also the traffic for the pings that we just did. So yeah, this is basically all about the video today. We've succeeded to create that VPN tunnel between R1 and R2 using the virtual tunnel interface. So the next video we will do will be the last one concerning side-to-side VPN. Okay, but that one is going to be gray over IPSEC LAN-to-LAN VPN using physical interface for CryptoMap. Okay, so this is all for this video, and thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.